You're a big believer in not having a digital currency. Tell us about the steps Europe is taking to institute a central bank controlled digital currency, Doug.
Europe and a good part of the world is on this fast track to go with digital currency. So, eventually it will result in some sort of chip being inserted into your body. We've talked about this. This was science fiction 20 years ago, John. But now you just scan your hand or your head, and you could buy and sell, without a card, without a wallet, without a purse. And it's going to be argued how convenient it is. We'll be able to find you if you're lost in the woods. Your kids, we could pick them up. We'll find them, no problem. But here's the problem. Do you remember, or have we already forgotten 2020, where we saw governments like China and others, say you can't go out, you can't buy food, you have the wrong thoughts, you have the wrong ideas. We're going to cut off your finances. This is the worst ever attempt at government control of people. If we go to digital currency, controlled by these governments here, they can shut you down. You'll go to the grocery store and guess what? You already have too many carbon credits this month. You can't eat for 2 weeks. This is bad news. And so in Pennsylvania, I've introduced legislation that would mandate that legal tender stays legal tender, that dollars and tangible money remains in effect. Obviously with the governor like Shapiro, who's, by the way, it's interesting, John, where he is. He's checked out. He's already running for president in New England. He can't control his Democrat House. They don't listen to a word he says. He's whining and complaining that he doesn't have enough bills to sign, which is true. He signed hardly any bills into law. I did have one of mine last week signed into law as an aside, but it's just a handful of bills. We're supposed to be doing the people's business, but his Democrat House, the governor of the state, he has no say. Apparently, they don't listen to him. I mean, it's amazing to see that he's completely defanged. I mean, he's very ineffective already, and he's only been in office for a few months. It's just interesting. But you don't want to have a government controlling your currency. I mean, it's utter madness.
Well, Doug, you're 100% right. All you have to do is go to Canada and remember the truckers there when they had the truckers sit-in, and Trudeau was able to cut their ATM funds off so they couldn't feed their families. So that was the end of it. They had to leave. So that was the test right there. There's no question about it. This stuff makes no sense. I'd say the other thing about a cashless society, Ann and I were at the Embassy Suites on Sunday morning. Jack's team, West Virginia, played a game in Charleston. And, there was about 100 people there. And, they come and clean the tables. And so we gave the person a $5 bill, and she thanked us profusely and said, I can't get tips anymore, even though there's 200 people here, because nobody has any cash. So there's no mechanism to give me a tip. So, this is affecting all types of people. What are you doing in Pennsylvania to stop this digital currency, which is all about the government controlling your life?
Yeah, and if I was governor, I'd obviously have a lot more say in this here. So as a legislator, last year I introduced legislation that would, of course, maintain and preserve and uphold the legal tender. And it would put out there to businesses cannot be mandated by the state or federal government that they have to go cashless, that they have to be able to accept cash. John, imagine this. You have an odd job for your kid, and now that's going to be recorded by the government. That where you shop, what you buy, your spending habits. I mean, as an intel guy, I was a military intelligence officer for 30 some years. That kind of data on somebody, you could really bracket them in. I mean, this is the grossest and greatest breach potentially when it happens of personal privacy. So in Pennsylvania, I hope we do move the bill that would preserve legal tender. Other states have done so. Florida is leading the way, and actually my legislation is based off of that piece of work that they did down there. Excellent piece of work. And the states need to band together and not just submit to a possible future mandate from the federal government that they want to go digital. Look, the power is in your hands. We have an election in just a couple weeks, November 7th. That's going to affect your judges in all your states, and that's a big deal. Pennsylvania, we won't have another shot at getting the Supreme Court till 2035 if we lose this one race for Supreme Court.